What? Thought a gun just went off. Good Lord have mercy. What is going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel for another video. If this is your first time here, my name is Jack, and this is my great-grandfather Sears RoeBuck Ted Williams Model 21 pump 20 gauge shotgun with the original poly choke on the end of it. This gun is between 50 and 60 years old and certainly hasn't been cleaned in the last 30 to 40. So today I'm going to be breaking it down, getting it open, and cleaning everything out of it. If that's content that sounds like it interests y'all today, consider sticking around. Y'all come on, we're going to get into it. Alright, y'all, so as I said before, this is my great-grandfather's pump 20 gauge shotgun. I want to get it back into use, but I don't want it to be covered in rust and all gummed up. The first time that I pulled the slide back on it, a whole bunch of crap actually fell out of it, and I'll try to get some images of that. But it's just like everything sticks and the trigger sticks when you pull it. I want to do this for the aesthetics of the gun, the overall well-being of it, and then also for the functionality of it. So what I'm going to do is break this down. I've never actually broke this gun down before, so it's going to be kind of like an adventure for all of us, but it is absolutely full of crap, and I'll try to get some good footage of it. So that's pretty much what we're doing. Y'all, as I said before, I've never cleaned this gun before, but I can make some assumptions in how I'm going to do this, as I've cleaned my 12 gauge plenty of times. I'm going to be knocking out this pin and taking out this screw. Two things that I generally keep on me when I'm doing this is a toothpick and a nail. Now, I use the nail to knock out pins where the toothpick's not going to be strong enough to be able to get it out. I also don't want to get wood jammed up inside any of the functions in the gun. I use the toothpick to pick out the tight spots and all the grime that's hard and it's going to be caked on in there, and I know it's going to be because this is what came out of the slide. So I am dreading what's actually on the inside of this gun. The other stuff that I'm going to be using is ballistol, I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. It's good though. And so I'm going to be using this as a lubricant and a cleaner inside of the gun, but I'm also going to be using it as a lubricant for the 4/0 steel wool that I'm going to be using on the outside of the gun to get the rust off of it. I know a lot of y'all are probably like, oh, you shouldn't do that, you're going to take the bluing off of the steel, but realistically, I'd rather take off just a little bit of the bluing than have rust all over the gun. These are actual fingerprints on the barrel of the gun from where people have been grabbing it, and then it sat for so long. Other than that, oh, I got a barrel snake, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and start doing this. Obviously, I need a screwdriver. I'm sorry I didn't say it before for y'all that couldn't connect those dots. But I'm going to take this, and I'm going to knock this screw out just far enough that I can get the toothpick to get the rest of it out, because I don't want to be trying to stick that in there and scratch the hole here. So I'm going to knock this pin out. It came out much easier than I anticipated it coming out. And y'all, I'm going to keep it on top of this mat because otherwise I'm going to lose it. So then do this one here. And there's a screw on the other side of this as well. There's part of me that's thinking it's the back side of this and that feeds into it, but I'm probably wrong. So we're gonna see if this backs out. Oh, that's tough. I mean, it's moving, but it's not going anywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that needs to be knocked out. It looks like we're coming off already. No, yeah, so I'm assuming this is a pin and it goes all the way through. So, hammer. Oh, oh. Got a little bit of movement there. There she goes. That doesn't want to come out. That hurts. Oh. Man, that is exceptionally dirty. So I took a brief break from the video to try to figure out how this comes apart. I got the flashlight and I started looking in. There's a little tiny pinhole here, and I was thinking that maybe something lets this come back out this way, but then I started looking here, and this looks like somebody tried to put a flathead screwdriver inside of there. And so I sort of had a thought that if I am my great-grandfather's son, which I never met the man, but I would probably try to stick a flathead screwdriver in here and get this thing off too. So this is gnarled up a little bit here, and so I figured that maybe something went down inside of there, and a hex key does fit down in there. So I don't have a hex key on me right now. It's out in my truck, and it is like 5 degrees. So we are just gonna leave this on here. So if you guys want to see me take this off, you're gonna have to ask me for it. So what I'm gonna do is just clean all the action and then lubricate the inside of this chamber. And I'm gonna run a bore snake through this thing and try to get this thing cleaned up and looking pretty. And then we're gonna take it out to the property tomorrow and probably get some rounds put through it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning this up and try to get some of this crap off of it. I don't think I'm gonna disassemble it, but I am going to try to lubricate some of the contact points that are in here. I generally try to avoid doing this just because it will get a lot of gunpowder residue built up on it and soot and all different types of crap, and you can get dirt inside of here, and it will actually wear your gun down faster and gum it up and create more misfires. But realistically, I don't think it can get any worse than it currently is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I've got this crappy old towel here. This is sort of like my dirt breaker. Alright, so for those of you who are new to cleaning guns, this is gun cleaner and lubrication. And you might be saying, why aren't you putting gun cleaner on it now to get that crap out of there? Well, yeah, it'll soak it and it'll make it easier to get off, but the only way to get it off then is to wipe it off. Well, I can't get rags and stuff down into these small components, so the best thing to do is take the toothpick, scrape it, break all that stuff down, and then just knock it out of the gun. And then you can go back with the gun cleaner, go back through the gun and get all the surfaces wiped off and everything cleaned down and get all this gunk out of here that's going to keep the gun from that's going to keep the gun gumming up. So really, you just want to go get the big things out and then come back and do a good clean. we've gotten mechanically everything cleaned up. I mean, it already sounds so much better. I'm gonna go ahead and lube this thing up, and then we're gonna start working on this surface rust that's all through here. And again, I apologize for these camera angles, but I can't see much, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Alright, so I'm gonna lube this just how I lube my other shotgun. There's a lot of moving components. You can see that slide there. You want to make sure that you don't have that metal to metal contact. You want to have lubrication on top of that, so it's sliding past each other, along with this rail that's down here as well. And then also, this is what's grabbing the back of the shell and putting it into the barrel, and then the firing pin is hitting it, so this is sliding as well. Let me make sure everything back here is lubricated as well. So, alright y'all, so the idea here is to use this as lubrication for 4/0 steel wool, which is the finest steel wool that there is, right? So what I'm going to do is put that on the barrel here, and then lightly and very lightly sort of massage that oil into it with steel wool, and it'll start picking up some of these imperfections and all of this crap that's on the surface. So basically, guys, steel like this, when you touch it with your fingers, it leaves oil on there, and the oil's fine, but what it also traps is water on the surface. And so you have little tiny pieces or patches of water that are on the surface of your gun, and over time, if they're not cleaned off, they end up rusting the surface. And that's really what's happened here. The way that you can tell is down here, there's thumbprints, and this is just about perfectly where you would grab a gun to pick it up or set it back down. So what I'm going to do is start this way, working my way up to sort of make sure that I don't mess up first. So that if I do mess up, at least it's not down here, and it's on a less noticeable portion of the gun. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Here we go with that. I'm just going to start lightly massaging this into the surface here. Sort of checking every so often to see the progress that we're making with it. You really don't want to get into it too hard, or you'll take the bluing off the gun, and then that's not cool. So I went back through the entire gun except for this side right here with the steel wool and the oil, and was just lightly cleaning that surface rust off of it, and there was some pitting and stuff on it, and it actually did a really good job at pulling it off. That's the first time that I've done this. I did leave this side because I want something to compare it to, because I can see all the imperfections still. So next time I come back in here to clean it, I'm actually going to pull the entire gun apart and do like a really thorough cleaning. I just want to get all the crap out of here so that it would function properly when I take it out to the property to go shoot it for the first time. The plan for this gun is to have Kellyanne use this when we go out to hunt or whatever it is that we're doing, so she's able to tag along. I like that it's a pump, because I feel like sometimes she gets nervous, and she can know that as long as she just doesn't recharge another shell in, that, you know, it's not going to fire. So I want her to get used to hunting and having a gun in her hands and shooting, so that she can actually feel comfortable at some point in time to be able to get out in the woods, or get out and go pheasant hunting, or dove hunting, or duck hunting, or whatever it is that we happen to be doing. She's able to use this and use it effectively. So y'all, that's pretty much it for me here on the Appalachian Farmhand channel for today. That's the first introduction of my great-grandfather's pump 20-gauge shotgun. I think it's pretty cool, and especially since it's got the poly choke on the end of it, and I can't wait to actually use this on the channel. So y'all, I'm gonna get this all cleaned up and head out to the property right now to go film another video. Y'all, if this is your first time here on the Appalachian Farmhand channel, I appreciate you joining us and being here. If this isn't your first time, I appreciate you coming back. Y'all, I think we're at 650 subscribers now, which is just nuts to me, sort of blowing my mind. But y'all, I appreciate you being here. I hope that you'll come back. But until then, I'll see y'all out in the woods.